Let me guess. Somehow, some way, controversy just may find its way into the comments section on this review video. I could be totally wrong, but I have a sneaking suspicion that will be the case. That's because I try to speak the truth in my tabletop reviews. And remember this, please. Whoever you are, wherever you are, you clicked on this video to get my opinion on the Heckler & Koch VP series of pistols. In this case, we're considering the first to come out, the VP9. And don't get confused. And I might as well just throw this down as a foundation. The gun is simply, here it comes, you know the word, outstanding. Go to war ready, you name it. Whatever acronym you want to slap on it, near perfect, perfect. The VP9 matches those very hard to find standards in the pistol community. I love the gun. But when you click on a Nut and Fancy review, you get more than just the mechanical resuscitations and all this and all that. That's boring. I will cover the features. We'll go point by point. I'll make my case at why it is a great GTW pistol. Trust me, I always do. But I want to talk about more. So over here we have the greatness of the VP series of pistols. And over here we have something else. And I'm going to talk about it. Maybe you can call it attitude, hype, elitism, marketing, image, the latest and greatest syndrome, the value equation, which will be integrated into this review. Trust me. I want to talk about that. It's interesting. And it's truthful. I think any review that is truthful should have some controversy. Should have perhaps some strong opinions. To me, that's interesting. You may disagree, but you'll go, hey, that's interesting, man. I learned something from that. If you're in a hurry, go to the manufacturer's website. Like I always say, click on the details. It's right there. Find a single page review on the VP9. It's there. Now, we're going to go deeper. Yeah, get into it. And again, let me stress this. The gun is near perfect, if not perfect, in its current form. This is based on our own testing and review here in the project. Me and the crew members. Man, it's a good gun. And it should be. Here comes some controversy. Ready? Ready? You probably see this coming, right, TNPers? Because it's based on this gun. The Walther PPQ. What? All right, let me say this, dudes. I've shot thousands and thousands, trying to prop that up, thousands and thousands of rounds through H&K pistols. I have. I've never really drank the H&K Kool-Aid, however. I just don't. I don't know what it is. I'm going to admit to you, I have a little bit of bias against H&K. How many H&K reviews have you seen in the Nut and Fancy project? I can't remember. Well, we had one of the USP back in 2008. You are correct. And that's about it. Because I have, here's where it really dries. I have an issue with the whole image thing and the pricing level of the pistol. For a polymer frame pistol, that's important. Because you can say, hey, Nut and Fancy, man, you love SIGs. Here's a 228. You're right, I do. And SIGs are expensive. They're not polymer. Okay? They're aluminum frame. More expensive to produce. They're still priced high. I give you that. But, you know, I really wanted to review the P30. I just drug my feet on it. You've never seen a P30 review. I'm just using that as an example. So there, I'll just throw that out. I don't think it will influence my objectivity in evaluating the greatness of this pistol. I've made that clear. It is great. But I want to address that. I also think that in the internet world, especially, guys get really confused between first kind of cool and second kind of cool. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please watch some more of my videos. I actually have a really old video out there where I discuss the whole concept. First kind of cool is function. How well does it perform a job? In this case, we're considering a combat pistol, are we not? A go-to-war pistol. A handgun you bet your life on. How well does it do that job? Reliable, accuracy, durability, ergonomics, stuff we'll cover here in a sec. Second kind of cool is different. It means, I love this because it's an H&K. The confusion comes in when it goes something like this. H&K VP series is better than the Walther PPQ. because it's H&K. Told you, I got to throw that out there to do a good review in my mind. I don't buy off on that, you know. Great gun, pretty much copies this gun. We'll see point by point how it does it. Maybe the H&K guys will say, oh no man, it's been in, you know, development for such a long time. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. But dude, in shooting these guns, I was getting them confused. I had to look at it. I honestly had to look at the milling of the slide because the PPQ is different. I like it better, by the way. It's just, that's first kind of cool observation there. And I was like, oh, I've got a VP9 or I've got a PPQ. They feel about the same to me. Am I the end-all expert on feel? No. I'll tell you what, though. It cracks me up. The internet continues to crack me up. It's in everything, in all the forums. You'll see it in comment sections of videos about guys will just go to war with each other over the most minor of things. The bottom line is this, is both of these guns, and if you need to run, you can't finish the rest of the video, here it is. They're equal.
Something like that?
They're equal. As far as first kind of cool and performing the job as a defensive weapon, tool, equal. One isn't better than the other, as the way I see it. If we get into image and value equation, then I have more to say. There it is. But this is, they saw the success of the PPQ as I see it. I could be totally wrong. They go, hey, we want a piece of that pie. So they come out with the VP series.
Nice, move it.
Watch my review, by the way, on the PPQ, and I rave about this gun.
Right here.
You know, and it was kind of puttering along, and I was like, when I got a hold of a PPQ and I shot it, I called it the sniper's pistol in that review. Amazed. Immediately, I was like, this is a, here it comes, game changer. It really kind of was.
Sweet.
Granted, it was based on the P99, P99Q, also great guns. I never had an opportunity to review those, but once I got the PPQ, I was like, why bother?
Yards.
They're just upgraded versions of that gun. I was stoked. I was like, dude, trigger's perfect, size, weight, all that stuff. Yeah. So a lot of guys say, hey, it's got the H&K logo on it, therefore it is an operator's pistol. You know, more or less, they'll call it that. I can shoot better with it. It's been tested, you know, to the nth degree, so I can trust it. And some of that may be true, but I can't sign off and go, just because it has H&K on it, it's better than the PPQ in this instance. Can't and won't. I don't care what the internet says. Sorry, I don't. Because I just base it on fact. Shooting the two guns. What I know. Always subject to change. Yeah. H&K's been very successful in their marketing. Creating an image in people's minds where, you know, $900 for a polymer frame pistol is awesome. Now, don't get confused. We're talking second kind of cool, not first kind of cool. Hey, that gun performs awesome. You're getting confused. I know it performs awesome. But there's other guns that cost a lot less, kind of like the PPQ, that do the same job. Now, if you want to come and say, hey, and this is where I respect guys. If they go, hey, and I'm not talking about the VP9, because I think the value level on this gun is actually pretty good. It's pretty good. It is higher than the PPQ. We'll revisit that. Honestly, it is. However, you get a great gun for the money. Probably worth it if you never sell it. But guys will get confused and go, well, because it's H&K, it's better than everything else. Now, and don't get me wrong, there's guys that say that about Glocks, right? Oh, because it's Glock, it's better than everything else. Why? Because they spent money on it. And sometimes guys just defend their own purchase decisions. Let's launch into this. Philosophy of use. How about this?
Thanks, buddy.
It's the same as I've always discussed. Defensive pistol, vehicle pistol, go to war pistol. For me, usually not concealed carry. And I'm leaving both guns on the table because they're going to bounce back and forth against each other. For instance, you've seen me in some of my gear checks carry the PPQ. It's carryable. And here's the holster I do it in, actually. And some of you guys may laugh because you're like, man, I can't believe you run that. I run a lot of different things, but this one works. Speaking of value, it's a size 15 Uncle Mike's Sidekick I bought, I don't know, 10 years ago. It fits both these pistols. It rides vertically, so the length of the gun, it really isn't a factor, carries an offside magazine. I like it. It is not my first concealed carry choice. It's just a little bit bulky for me. That one is. I'd much rather go with a Glock 26. Speaking of Walther PPS, Springfield XDS. Stuff I've talked about. Go to my playlist on my channel page. You'll see a better concealed carry choice, perhaps. But there's guys who will run a VP9 all day long, and they'll be very happy with it. One reason is because it's not that heavy. Again, here we go into the great stuff that H&K got right. You know, are they bouncing off PPQ? Probably. But at least they were smart enough to know, hey, this works. This is how we need to go too. 27 ounces with an empty magazine. That's doable. That SIG you saw earlier, the 228, is 30. Go watch my video, Compact It Ain't, by the way. I remember years ago, they're like, oh, the 228 is a perfect concealed carry pistol. No, it's not. Way too heavy, way too chunky. These are also kind of chunky. Look at the widths. They're almost identical, the widths. The PPQ looks a little bit trimmer because, again, that tapering of the slide, which, again, I love. VP9, in this case, you know, looks a little bit chunkier, but they're about the same. The weight on the PPQ, I raved about, still will, 25 ounces. It is one of the few guns that comes right at the Glock's weight. Why do I like Glock 17, Glock 22 so much? Because the weight. Along with all the other stuff I've talked about a lot here in the project. The balance of both guns is excellent. Again, I get confused between the two. Oh, nutnfancy, how Katie? They feel totally different in my hand. To me, they feel very similar. You know, they have low bore axes. Their grips are phenomenal, right? And with the VP series, you have a lot of customization. You have a bunch of different back straps you can put on. You have a bunch of different side panels you can put on. So, customize to your heart's content. By the way, I love that. That's one thing the PPQ doesn't have. Told you I'd be honest in this review. You can slide those panels off and maybe you have a really huge hand, put the larger ones on. By the way, I don't have any of those on the table. This gun is on loan with a friend. I was like, hey dude, you got a VP9? I need to review that. I don't know why, I just was stoked on it. I think this is the first gun that H&K has come out that has really excited me. It's not a $1,000 polymer gun. Comes in close enough to that price level. Feels excellent, balance is excellent. How about firepower? There are guns that beat it. For instance, the Canik TP9 I reviewed a couple months back. Super high value, Turkish produced semi-automatic pistol. What was that, 18 plus 1? These are 15 plus 1. The PPQ does have 17 round magazines available. Yes, you will have a butt pad that sticks out, kind of like this. That's it right there. That came with our special edition PPQ, which we still have. And these, by the way, are M1 varieties with the magazine release on the trigger guard, which I love. Yeah, and by the way, the the P30. The VP9 has it as well. I kind of like how H&K came out with that. They're like, no, we're pretty happy with this. You know, American shooters, the way it goes on the internet at least is, well, we don't like that. We like push button because we like consistency and training. All our other magazines have a release right there for consistency and training. We want to push right here. I get it. For training, I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's easy and it's fully ambidextrous. To release a mag, you can do it with your index finger. You can do it with your thumb. It's ergonomic. Yeah. 15 rounds for the VP9. If a VP40 comes out, other calibers, of course, it'll be different. I may have missed it. I don't see larger capacity magazines. It does take H&K P30 mags. Keep that in mind. But 15 is pretty good. I would be pretty bummed about 13 in this form factor. Firepower is decent. One thing I love about the PPQ, and this is important, part of the mix, is I can get these magazines for it. The Magnum Research, I think these are for a P99, and they work great. And they're pretty affordable, and they're very well made. Right? Made in Italy. I showed these in the PPQ review. I like it when I can do a magazine stash, which I think per pistol, with politics being the way they are, should be around 8 per pistol. Call me crazy, but you won't need that many, but what if you lose them, break them? Just a thought. Firepower is pretty much a match, +2 for the PPQ, I guess. How about accuracy? How about almost perfect out of the VP9? I'm going to start with, and I'm showing you footage here or there. I'm not sure how I'll do it. I'll start with me standing at 25 yards. By the way, is Chad from Keltec shooting with us? What's up, Chad? That guy's cool. We love hanging out with him. That's not too bad. 25 yards, hard to do. You think it isn't? Try it. Standing. VP9, 25 yards. A little bit bigger group. I'll still take it. I wonder if that was me. I'm trying to. Oh, that was Chad. I wrote that down. Cool. Chad, you're gonna own that one, dude. That's him. Body shots. I just have a couple more. I'm not going to bore you with a bunch of paper in this review. I'm trying to do less, actually. 7 yards. This was today. Standing with this most excellent of handguns, the H&K VP9. One hole groups. 7 yards. Oh my gosh. This, by the way, is tactical ammunition, 115 grain FMJ, and man, is it consistent. Yes, they are a TNP ammo sponsor, and I'm not just saying that, because if it sucked, I'd tell you that too. I go, yeah, it's not printing so great. I'm beholden to nobody. You guys know that. I don't care what anybody thinks. My reviews are so funny. Oh, let's see. There's a white box. Different ammo. A little bit opened up, but this was 15 yards standing, and the wind was cranking. Kind of. Good group there. Good group there. You know what this reminds me of? You guessed it, the PPQ. Both of these guns, when you talk about accuracy, are amazing. Yes, it's probably because of the trigger and also how the barrels are constructed. In this version, you have polygonal rifling and a cold hammer forged barrel. Extremely accurate, and yes, let's talk about the triggers right now, because we're talking about accuracy. And this is one of those things I alluded to earlier about how guys will go on and on about the trigger of the PPQ versus the VP9 in this case. The triggers to me feel about the same. Feel about the same. You will hear guys, you know, go into this specific, that specific, you know, for reset. Let's talk about reset. And I've said this before in some of our reviews, guys will just get really wrapped around the axle about reset. I can't shoot a gun unless it has a good reset. To me, it doesn't matter. I mean, again, the TP9, that gun has a horrible trigger. I shot it accurately. I think it really comes down to the shooter adapting to the trigger. Do I like a better trigger? Absolutely. For instance, the PPQ, I've always loved this trigger. Here's the reset right here. Very short. I love the short reset. Do I need it personally as a shooter? I don't know if I'm that good. So probably not. Maybe a competition guy where he's just practicing every day and he's just cranking the rounds fast. No, because I shoot so many different platforms, I'm not going to train on just a PPQ and come this far forward. I'm going to come further forward because I might be shooting this Glock next time I'm running and gunning. I might be shooting the SIG. That same training technique doesn't work. Get it? Trigger on the VP9. Really smooth. Crisp let off. Here's a reset. A little bit further forward. Do I care? Nope. Just keeping it real, dudes. Here's the trigger scale. They're both excellent triggers. I mean, seriously, so good. I think these should break around about 5.5 a piece. Nah, that's not accurate on that, because I did earlier is about 5.5. Come on, VP9. Okay, 5.14. I got a 5.6 out of it earlier. Here comes the PPQ. They're about the same, dudes. 5.6 for the PPQ. Can I tell the difference while shooting both of these handguns? What do you think? No, I can't, really. They seem very similar. That is, they're perfect. The triggers are, especially for a striker-fired polymer gun. Perfect. Leading to the accuracy that I just showed. How about features review? Ergonomics. SAWC, I think we've kind of covered already. There's a slide milling on the VP9. Front serrations, back serrations. I don't ever use the front ones. Some guys do. I don't like putting my hand up there. Just me. Sights are steel, 3-dot variety. They are luminescent, which I kind of think are a little bit hokey at this stage of the game. Why is that, Nutton? Well, are they really going to be exposed to light before your low light defensive encounter? Probably not. Bringing it from the bedside table, your pistol box, bolted to your floor. No, they're not. Just put on trips. And my understanding is H&K will offer a set of tritium sights for this and a factory equipped option, VP9, maybe later on VP40 having them. I would go for that option, spend the extra money. I like night sights. Still waiting for night sights on this PQ, by the way. There's a lot of air in that PPQ. See it on the rear blade? I criticized that in the review, by the way. Totally did. A little bit less in these sights. But going back and forth between two pistols, which we did in run and gun testing, again, they seem really, really familiar to me. This is a plus for you lefties, but also available in the PPQ. The ambidextrous nature of the gun. There's your slide release right here and right here on this side. Cool. And unlike some other H&K offerings, take this mag out. It's pretty short on this side. Kind of longer on the PPQ. Told you I'd bounce back and forth between these two guns. But I've never shot the PPQ and go, oh wait, that's way too long. In fact, I think I mentioned in the review how trim all the controls are on the PPQ. It's a win. I like the trigger guard on both of the guns. It's squared because, yeah, I'm kind of goofy. I shoot that way, but I can hit that way too. The trigger guard kind of reminds me of a Glock somewhat, where my finger will drag because of my angle of holding the gun, and it just drags on the bottom. Do I notice that with the PPQ? I don't think so. Seems like it's just a little bit bigger. Minor point though. I mean, I shoot the Glocks all the time and I'm doing the same thing, dragging my finger. Complain about it then. Other features of the VP9. How about the charging ears? Another subject of page after page of controversy on the internet. Oh, they suck. Oh, I love them. Some guys are really pissed because you have to take the back side out to get the charging ears off. They think they're goofy. I kind of like them. I do. I think they do serve a purpose, and I think H&K was wise to put them on. Yeah, I'm not an H&K fanboy. I'm just being objective here. I think they're cool. The point being is that you're trying to grasp. They're made out of polymer. It gives you more traction back here. Would I take them off if I owned the gun? No. I totally wouldn't. I'm open to features that make sense. Not hype, but features that make sense. There's your cocking indicator, kind of like the PPS. It does not, however, protrude. Let me load up a snap cap for you to show you. See for yourself. So you can see the cocking indicator right there. Oh, now it's gone. I would like it to be tactile, you know, you can feel it. Picatinny rail is better than the PPQ. I said it. It is, because it has more real estate. You can put more things on it, and I guess this one is stressed, at least H&K says this in their literature, for like 5.6 ounces with no change in zero. That's pretty good, because you can actually, at least in second gen or third gen Glocks, you can have some issues if you hang something really heavy on the dust cover there. Yep. Mag release we talked about. I love it. It's great. The stippling, the grip feels really good. Be careful on both these guns. Like I said in the PPQ review, you can pinch your hand fat as you stick these magazines in. Here's a look at the magwell. Oh yeah, I'm glad I remember this too. One more point on ergonomics and shootability of the H&K VP9, and in this case versus the Walther PPQ. Which one has the best characteristic of muzzle rise, muzzle flip? And this too seems to be a source of never-ending contention on, you guessed it, the internet. Again, you may see it in the comments. But here's my take. And I don't know if I'm the end-all expert on so-called muzzle flip. I just don't care. You know, I'm not competing and doing microsecond shoots. I think that pretty much is the only philosophy of use where it matters. Where you absolutely, positively have to shave every 100th of a second you can. Then I may worry about muzzle flip. Getting back on target, follow-up shots. Then I may worry about really short trigger reset and training, big word, to that level. Because I'm competing. That will win or lose the match for me. I can see that. But in most other philosophies of use, combat pistol, sidearm, CCW, home defense, vehicle gun, WRL gun, nah. Didn't notice it. Shot the VP9, shot the PPQ side by side in our running gun. I was like, I can't really tell a difference. Now you may look at the video and go, well, I see a difference. But practically, and that's what I'm talking about, getting rounds on target, same. The paper doesn't lie. I mean, the paper, it shows the accuracy in my shooting, what I did. You can go look at the PPQ review. Maybe I'll roll in some footage there. Very accurate gun. Same with the VP9. They're equal. I'll just leave it at that. They're equal. I don't understand why guys would expend energy arguing about something that's basically not an issue, as I see it. Field strip maintenance on the VP series of pistols. Again, I'm calling it VP series because this is just the first to come out. They may have different variations that will come out later on. It's pretty standard. Takedown lever right there. I always pull the trigger because I don't care. It's safe direction. I safety checked it. Can you take it apart without pulling the trigger? I think I read something you could. I always do. Works fine. There's your field strip. Huge old lock and block in there and big slide rails. Let's compare it just for grins against the Glock. What do you say? I do love Glock. Still do. Not going to change it. It just works. And here's your slide rails on a Glock 22. Someone may go, oh, dude, those ones on the VP9 are superior. They are big. They are massive, and they're impressive. But functionally, we're talking first kind of cool. Does it make a difference in accuracy and durability? No. You want truth? I'm giving you truth. It doesn't. From my own shooting, thousands of rounds of Glocks. Not thousands of rounds of this, but I shot enough to know. Rest of the takedown is pretty standard. Flat. It is a captive recoil spring. Let me pop it out so if you want to see it. I was going to say it's not a double spring like you see in the Gen 4 Glocks. There's your barrel, polygonal, CHF. Good stuff, man. Quality levels on this gun, as to be expected, are awesome. Good job, H&K. They are. They're really good. There is a catch, by the way. When I put this together, I kind of got to wiggle it right there, and then the slide goes on. Maybe it's just me. Probably is. No magazine safety, by the way. I love that. And that takes us to value. Here comes some more controversy. Truth is good, dude. It will set you free. Now, if you ask me, and I may run into you and you go, hey, dude, by the way, that's a scale sitting on there. I was supposed to use it in the review, but I forgot. Whatever. If you ask me, hey, Nutton, VP9 or PPQ in 9, which one? What do you think I will say at this stage of the review? If you said PPQ, you get a gold star. That's correct. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're a VP9 fan, I say rock on. I will never criticize anyone for buying the gun. It is near perfection. It's awesome. It is, however, basically a PPQ. Now, maybe the H&K dudes will say, oh, dude, I would trust an H&K way before I would trust a Walther. I wouldn't. They're equal. This gun is awesome. It's GTW, baby, all the way from what I've seen. I've shot this gun a lot.
Failure.
Yeah, it's pretty excellent.
There you have it. In the nut.
I see them neck and neck. Yeah, but you don't know. I mean, H&K tested their guns, 10,000 rounds, durability testing. I could be wrong. I'm not saying this is gospel, but from what I know now, the guns are equal. If you're talking about, we're talking first kind of cool here. Again, if you want to say second kind of cool, I just like H&K. Maybe you like the slide milling better. Maybe you like longer Picatinny rail. You like this is kind of first kind of cool stuff. When I'm talking about functionality, I get it. I'm with it. I'll support you 100%. If I ever meet you and you say, yeah, I got a VP9, I was like, you chose well. The issue I have is street price $525, street price $650. Is it a make or break price level difference? Not really. It isn't. But it's something. For basically what I perceive to be the same level of performance. And here's another thing I didn't really address in my intro, and that's what I call the latest and greatest syndrome. You know what I'm talking about. You see it everywhere. Print media, internet, forums, especially here in YouTube. And that's when a new gun comes out, in this case, the H&K VP9, and everybody goes, oh man, that is groundbreaking. It is the best gun ever. Here it comes again. It's a game changer. Maybe it is. It usually isn't. And in this case, I'm sorry, the H&K VP9 is not a game changer. It's basically a copy again of the PPQ, which all along has been excellent. See where I'm going? I mean, if someone goes, well, you know, that trigger was never available, ever, that was on the VP9. Yeah, it is. Even with a shorter reset. The PPQ, which, I mean, if you had to choose, I'll choose a PPQ trigger. They're both excellent, but if you push me, PPQ trigger is very slightly better. You know, the latest and greatest syndrome, and you see it going on with everything. Why? Because there's money to be made, there's views to be had, all that stuff. I don't care about any of that. That's the truth. You know, I'm not going to say that it isn't awesome. It is. But if you want to save $125, maybe have some features that you may like better, maybe the PPQ. I won't fault you if you get a VP9. I will not. It is that good. How about accessories and versatility? Well, versatility is kind of the philosophy of use discussion. I really skimmed over that just for time. You've heard it so many times. I didn't really go into it. I'm sure I'll hear comments about that. Where's the POU discussion, dude? Come on now. It's a new gun, so you may have to go to H&K for those tritium sights, which I may have missed it, are available for PPQ. I don't know. P99 sights. I forget. The mags, you're going to have to go to H&K. Holsters will pretty much fit into anything the P99, maybe PPQ series fits. That's about it. Now, as it goes on down the road, it establishes a track record, a following, which is basically meaning it sells. The VP9, the VP40 will have more accessories, more things that you need. But I wouldn't do anything to the trigger. I probably wouldn't even replace these sights if this is a gun I had. I would try to get the factory equipped tritium version.
Cool.
That's how I see it now. You know, track record, like I said, being established. PPQ, I think, is pretty established right now because it is in the hands of a lot of shooters. Click around on the internet and you will find what I'm talking about. People love their PPQs. I would really question the wisdom of someone saying, I'm going to sell my PPQ to get a VP9. That's so much cooler and more capable. No, it's not. I've made that whole case throughout this whole video. Second kind of cool, if you're an H&K guy, you think H&K just makes you sleep better at night, okay. But throw down the second kind of cool flag on. It's like, hey, I know they're about the same gun. They're same performance. They really are. But I like H&K. Nothing wrong with that. I get it. Great gun. Great gun. The Heckler & Koch VP9, the subsequent pistols that will come out, really awesome. They are cheaper than their other polymer offerings, like the P30. Hammer cock, not striker fire, but still kind of expensive for what you got. Here you're getting at least 2 mags. There might be other versions with 3 mags available. It's lightweight. By the way, I didn't mention this. The reliability was 100% of shots fired. I might not shoot it that much, but enough to know. It is basically, again, PPQ. If I slap a GTW on it, dude, that means I would defend my life with it. Not worrying about a jam. I feel that way about this gun. Well done, H&K. Remember, 2 parts this review. The pistol, you're perfect. The other stuff, we talked about it. That's a nutnfancy review. See ya.